I'm here today with Madelaine Partsioglou. She is a friend of our school. Madelaine, welcome. Thanks for talking with us today.
Thanks for
Can
having
you
me.
tell us a bit about what you do?
Yeah, so I actually do a few things, but what I'm here to speak to about today is my somatic movement. So I teach conscious movement to a range of different people, to adults, to teens, to the elderly. I've also taught in drug and rehabilitation centres as well. Um, and I just find that movement is a really beautiful way to kind of move into your body and just really feel comfortable within yourself, and also to help manage all of the change that happens around you.
What do you hope to do in the future? Where do you see that going?
Yeah, awesome. Great question. So I'm really excited about this. So my passion is really working with young people, and I really hope to long term to really bring this movement into schools, and just to teach young people, because I wish I learnt this when I was younger, how the physical body can actually be such an important access point into being a better version of yourself, essentially, like just being you and being comfortable being you and being happy being you, and then sharing you with the rest of the world.
Yeah, beautiful. So, are there any subject-specific skills that you learned in BCE
Yeah.
which are relevant and useful to what you do now?
I think what I really did learn from school was time management. I learned that persistence pays off, hard work leads to results. Even if you're not good at something, trying is such a reward within itself. And I think they're the skills that I've been able to take from school that I learned specifically through BCE, and I apply them now to my life. On reflection, each decision that I've had to make within my life, I noticed that every time I paid attention to what I felt in that moment of making that choice, whether it was moving into the family business, finishing university, or choosing to do in a career, moving into a career that was in line with what I was studying, or making a decision to become a yoga teacher and be trained in yoga. When I tuned in and started to notice what I was feeling inside,
Yeah.
and I listened to those feelings, I've always come up with a result that has been really beneficial to me. It's made me really happy.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Can you identify a time during VCE that really tested you? And can you explain how you overcame it and how you dealt with the stress?
Yeah, so there's a few questions in there. So I think the first thing I would just like to touch on is I actually found my teenage years really quite difficult. I realized after in my 20s that I had gone through undiagnosed depression during my teenage years, and even though I liked going to school, I found life just difficult. I just could not get my head around what it was all about, how I was supposed to move through it. Perseverance, like I said, it just paid off. I just kept working, kept plucking away. And I think in regards to stress, I think one thing that we need to understand is that stress is not just emotional or mental stress. There's also physical stress, like put your body through way too much exercise and you just are exhausted. That's physical stress. Mental stress is, when you feel overwhelmed, or emotional stress when you feel like you're being tested by all of these people around you.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that all of stress has in common, regardless of where it comes from, is it makes you feel unbalanced. So all of a sudden you don't feel like you're at your best. Your ability to be able to recall information, to be able to get good quality sleep, to be happy, to feel comfortable within yourself, becomes compromised. So I think when we identify stress, it's really important to say, okay, I'm off balance. And what does balance actually mean to me, and how can I help myself bring myself back into what makes me feel good?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So can you tell us a bit about what is somatic movement and what does it do for our minds as well as our bodies?
Yeah, absolutely. So somatic movement is movement that distinguishes the mind and the body. So you understand what the body is and you understand what the mind is and our ability to think, and then we bring both aspects together. So for those of you, and for you, Nicole, who might have practiced mindfulness throughout their life, this is what it's all about. And it's just about moving your body in a way that you are fully aware of, like you are in tune to noticing how you move, you twist, how it feels within your body, what you think about what you notice when you think about when you move a certain way. These are all part of it. So yoga, tai chi, qigong, meditation, these all fall under somatic movements.
Right. Okay. And how important is it to stay physically fit or moving during times of stress and anxiety?
Yeah, so I'm going to draw a little bit on my university kind of
Yeah,
education.
absolutely.
So we are more, as human beings, we're more mentally evolved than what we are physically. Physically, we're still like an animal, but we think way more. Our thought processing is much faster
More
than
complex. Yeah.
much more complex, right? So from a physical point of view, when we experience stress, we go into a fight and flight response. So our sympathetic nervous system begins to activate, and all of a sudden our body, even though we may not see it, thinks that there's a saber-toothed tiger standing right in front of us, and all we need to do is run. We need to run the opposite way to keep ourselves safe. So what happens with us, though, is that we actually don't have that threat. We don't need to run. So the threat in front of us, or the stress, is a perceived threat. So we perceive studying for this exam really, really difficult, and we want to run away from it, essentially. So what happens within our body is we have a lot of adrenaline pumping through our system when our fight and flight activation is turned on, when we get activated by stress. So what physical exercise does is it helps move that energy. It helps move that really jittery kind of sensation, those butterflies in the body. And it just takes it out so that we can calm our whole system down, and then we can refocus again, especially when you're studying. So if you start to feel that wave of anxiety, start doing your exercise or move your body, and then watch how your mind just drops back in. And when we're calm, our ability to recall information is a lot higher.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So do you have any suggestions for some movements that we could do as a bit of a daily ritual, or something that we're able to do sitting at our desks at home, given that the students and teachers, a lot of us are remote working or learning? Yeah, any suggestions that we could do between classes?
Absolutely.
Or
So
during classes even?
yeah, whenever you feel the need to. I remember doing this even through my exams, not understanding what I was doing. Just by, I always start by placing my feet firmly on the mat or on the ground, and I just feel into my feet. So I might peel my heels away from the floor and then place them back down and feel for the pressure underneath my heels, or lift my toes away from the floor and then quickly place them back down and then feel for the floor underneath my feet. And that just helps you bring you into your body. And then what I tend to do, and I would recommend for anybody, is just move however you feel the need to. So if you feel that you're tight in your shoulders, just move your shoulders around. Excellent. Or if you feel that your spine needs to move, if you're in a chair, just take hold of the side of the chair and just gently twist. Now, when you do this, the important thing is to really notice how you're feeling. So, Nicole, when you're moving, what do you notice within your own body?
So right now I can feel, I'm feeling the muscles pull across my shoulders and my waist, and I'm trying to focus in on those tight spots. And I want to feel a little bit of release. I want to be able to come back to center and feel Good, like that was a good stretch. I don't want it to hurt.
No, that's right. It should never hurt. But I think one of the things is when we come back out of it, there's always a sensation afterwards. So you might feel, especially if you're tight, moving your body increases the blood flow through maybe the muscles that you've just activated. So if you're pulling back your shoulders and then you release, you might notice that there's warmth coming through your shoulders. And that's that sense of relief that I think you're talking about.
Yeah.
The other thing that you might like to do as well as moving your body however you feel the need to, sometimes doing these ones are good ones.
Yeah.
If you're feeling really like you can't focus, that little Cupid's bow on top of your lip, you can just close your eyes and just breathe in and out of your nose and just focus on that one spot. So just take that breath really slowly. So as you inhale, feel the coolness of the breath over that Cupid's bow. And then when you send that breath back out, feel the warmth. And I just keep doing that until I feel that all of the thoughts, all of the distractions that could be potentially running through my head have like settled, and I can hold focus for maybe a minute, and then I'll open my eyes and then I'll start studying or trying to learn something new.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that. And it is important to have a few little tools, you know, that we can use in this time, particularly when you're sitting in one spot. And do you have any advice for the teenagers out there, sort of in the midst of this pandemic, or even in the wake of it moving forward?
Yeah, this is such a good question. I think one thing that we all need to comprehend is that the more comfortable that we are with change, the easier we'll be able to adapt, as I mentioned earlier. And change will constantly happen within our life. So what we're feeling now, this too shall pass. Next year will look so different to this year, maybe in ways we could never probably anticipate, considering how this year has gone. But I think still hold on to what it is that you would like to achieve within your life. It's just that the way you get there might be a little different to how you thought. So you still might be able to go to university to do your apprenticeship, but it might just turn out to be a little bit of a divergence. There might be a little way around it. And as you heard today, from my experience, there has not been a linear process. So keep dreaming, keep holding on to what it is that you want to achieve, but don't get caught up on how you get there.
Yeah, fantastic. And what about if you could go back in time, any advice for your teenage self?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things that I've learned is don't take life so seriously. Life is fun and it's supposed to be joyful. And sure, you will make mistakes, but you will also learn so much. And I think having an open mind and just really welcoming in knowledge and being thirsty for it, and listening to what other people have to tell you, because it's so enriching to have so many different experiences underneath your belt. Yeah, to have fun, to enjoy every single process, even the tough times, because I promise they won't last forever.
Yeah, that's great advice. Maddy, thank you so much for sharing with us today. It's been an absolute pleasure and so many takeaways. And we look forward to maybe meeting you on campus one day and having you in the flesh.
Yeah, that would be such an honour. Thank you so much for your time too.
Okay, thanks, Maddy. See you later.
Bye.